where does India really figure in the scheme of things, especially in context of China, in context of Russia, Ukraine, and also for the fact that when I speak to people here in the Indian administration, I think they were more comfortable with the Trump administration. They're not really sure about the Biden administration. There's a trust deficit that seems to be there. So how do you look at it, sir?
Well, I would say that whatever sort of storms come and go in U.S.-Indian relations, if we stand back from each day and look at the last 20 years, we can see very clear trends emerging. And that is primarily that the rise of China is driving the United States and India closer together. And that's not due to anything we're doing, and it's not due to anything you're doing. It's just due to our mutual reflection on a fairly obvious and large-scale set of events. There's another important factor, which is that the United States American relationship with Pakistan has also been cooling quite steadily. And with the end of the war in Afghanistan, whatever other problems there may be, the U.S. has by and large lost almost any reason to maintain much of a relationship with Pakistan. And Pakistan, on its part, has largely embraced China as its primary and really maybe even its only serious partner in international affairs. So with China uniting us and Pakistan ceasing to divide us, it's clear that the U.S.-India relations are in a different place. But it's also clear that when two countries come closer together, often their relationship can become more turbulent. Because when you are far off, there are all kinds of small annoyances. There are things that would bother you immensely about your husband or your wife that wouldn't bother you at all if it was your neighbor 3 doors away who had these habits. So as two societies come closer, perhaps the American habit of giving moral lectures annoys Indians more, and the Indian habit of not listening to America's well-meant counsel annoys Americans more. And if you think about it, in some ways, when people in the U.S. now talk about the Indo-Pacific as the center of gravity, increasingly, of American foreign policy, and I myself think this is correct. And so we're moving from the Atlantic to the Indo-Pacific as the focus. But if you study the relations between the Europeans and the Americans as they developed during the Cold War, you'll see there's a tremendous institutional network. Americans don't naturally like Germans very much, especially in 1950. And Americans and the French always have their problems, right? But if you look at if you're a young scholar in the U.S. and you're interested in American-German relations or whatever, there are a million foundations and organizations in Germany and in the U.S. that will help you go spend a year in Berlin or Frankfurt or whatever, or send, if you're a young German, to America. There are conferences, the networks that exist, because people in both countries have said, this is not a love match, it's an arranged marriage. And so we both have to work at making it work. I think the Indo-US relationship is going to need to develop that kind of framework. Many Indians, of course, study in the United States, and I think more will be. So there's some connectivity that way. But very few Americans study in India or know India. And so, what you need is people who have, in addition to official relations going well, and that's important, you need lots of people in your society in different professions who have not only an understanding of the other society, but personal contacts. And that way, what you often can do is say on issues like the religious freedom or something like that, instead of having the State Department issue a report, which will not, I can fairly safely predict, make a lot of change in India. But if there were a group of Indians who are well aware of various issues that are in India, a group of Americans who are well aware that lectures are often counterproductive and that America also has its problems, these people could start developing frameworks and understandings that would prevent extraneous issues and controversies from arising, and so enable a deeper, stronger relationship. And so I would say the test of the Indo-American relationship in the future, in the near future, is not going to be whether we manage to solve each and every difference of opinion that arises, but whether we make steady progress in developing the infrastructure, the human infrastructure of the relationship, so that as time goes on, we understand each other better and are therefore able to manage the inevitable issues